Welcome to Deep Dive. I'm your host, Kevin Benedict, and I want to thank all of you guys out there for joining us here. I'm so excited today to have Kerel Cooper join us today. He's the SVP with Global Marketing and of Global Marketing with LiveIntent, a really interesting company that I hope to dig deep into today. Kerel, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Kevin. Really looking forward to this and looking forward to having a great conversation here.
All right, so I'm calling in today from Mountain View, California. Where are you calling in from?
I am in Lower Manhattan, LiveIntent. We are located at 222 Broadway. I would say a couple hundred yards away from World Trade Center, so all the way down.
All right.
Yeah.
I've been there often, so thank you again for joining us at the end of your day here. So talk to us a little bit about yourself. Now, I know lots of people know who you are, but for those that don't, give us some background.
Yeah, sure. So first and foremost, I'm a Jersey guy, born and raised in New Jersey. Lived in Jersey my entire life, still there today, obviously. Married for 15 years and have two wonderful daughters at home, so they certainly keep me busy. I like to tell people all the time, you know, when I leave the office, my day is really just beginning because I have like school, fifth grade homework to do when I get home and those sorts of things. So.
Absolutely, I understand. I understand how it works. So how would you describe yourself from a career perspective? What's your career?
Yeah, I was going to get into that. So I've been in the, I would say, ad tech and martech space now for a little over 18 years. I'm currently at LiveIntent, been at LiveIntent for 4 years now as the SVP of Global Marketing. And essentially what that means is I lead our marketing organization and a talented group of marketers in various aspects of marketing. So everything from product marketing to demand gen to creative and our branding to events, as well as public relations falls under sort of my role and responsibilities. Prior to joining LiveIntent, I was at a local news publisher called Advanced Digital. I was there for almost 8 years, leading the ad operations team and helping manage the partnerships and relationships with a lot of the platform vendors that we use. So whether it was an ad serving vendor or a data management platform or viewability company, that all sort of fell under my responsibility. So I grew up in this space on the operations side. When I came to LiveIntent, I made the transition to leading account management for a little bit. And over the last couple of years, have made transition from account management to product marketing and now marketing.
Well, that's fascinating. It always seems like it would be such an interesting role to be in marketing at a marketing vendor. So you have two kinds of marketing, right? You're trying to market marketing.
Absolutely, yeah. And you know, we have, the way I look at it is we have internal customers and we have external customers, right? Internally, the sales team, the customer success team, and sort of making sure that they're trained up, making sure that they're on brand, making sure that they understand the latest and greatest about our products and our services. Obviously, we work closely with the product team. And then externally, right, it's making sure that our customers understand how to utilize LiveIntent's platforms and services to get the most out of it and to accomplish their goals. It's also creating awareness in the marketplace. So that we are top of mind as well when they're planning out their year and their quarter and looking where to allocate dollars and get the most out of it. So yeah, it's pretty fascinating and I like it. But yes, we're marketers trying to market to marketers.
All right. And so in addition to all this, the fathering the daughters and the marketers marketing, you also have a podcast called The Minority Report. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so a buddy of mine and I, Eric Rekkanen, who runs programmatic sales for a company called Intermarkets, we started the podcast back in June of last year. And the idea really was to create a platform where people of color, women, people of diverse backgrounds have a place to sort of tell their story, and people in the advertising and marketing industry have a place to tell their story. And so it's less about getting together and talking about the nuts and bolts of the industry, right? And it's more about getting together and really sort of talking about, an individual's background, their upbringing, how they got into advertising and marketing, how do they mentor others, what do they look for in mentors, their opinions on sort of the diversity and inclusion within our space, and things that we need to do to sort of make it better and more of a inclusive industry. So that's really sort of the gist of the podcast and the content behind it. And like I said, we started it back in June. We've done 8 episodes so far. The feedback has been really positive across the entire industry, and really looking forward to taking it to the next level in 2019.
That's terrific. So how would somebody find this?
Yeah, sure. So you can go to, best place is to go to minorityreportpodcast.com. And from there are links to all 8 episodes that we've done so far. And there are links to follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook.
All right.
So on and so forth. So minorityreportpodcast.com. And
it's almost like you know how to market yourself there, Kerel.
And if anyone out there is listening, we are always looking for new guests to come on. So if you yourself want to be a guest, or if you have someone you want to recommend, please do hit us up.
Perfect. So let's jump into the discussion on marketing now, Kerel. Talk to me. What have you seen change in marketing over the last 5 years? To me, I'm a technology analyst by trade for many years here, been following all the emerging technologies, writing all kinds of reports and speaking on it. And it just seems to me that the kinds of technology being applied in marketing means that some of the biggest digital transformation of anywhere in the company happens in marketing and sales. Right. So how have you seen it change over the last 5 years? What's your experience there?
Yeah, I think obviously from a marketing standpoint, right, you need to be where your customers are, right, and where your prospects are. And I think one of the biggest things that I see, and I even see it in my own household with my 10-year-old daughter, right, is just the way that people are consuming and accessing content, right? Not only do you have a laptop and a phone, right, but audio podcasts are growing tremendously. I myself listen to a lot of audiobooks and consume a lot of podcasts. So there's the audio aspect of it. There's the voice aspect of it now with things like Echo in the home. There's obviously OTT, right? So I think the way a consumer is consuming content, the number of avenues is growing tremendously. Right, and I think that in itself creates challenges for marketers, right? Because you not only have your traditional TV and print and radio, but now you have all these other places where your consumers are. And so it's not only sort of where you're reaching them and how you're reaching them, but it's also the measurement behind it and what's being effective for you, right? And I think that that's a challenge for us. And has been a big change, I would say, over the last 5 years or so.
Man, when you think about it, I remember just going back in my career to the early days where marketing was all about, designing a piece of collateral and then taking it to the printer and having the printer get the right color schemes and the right thing. And then you can hand it out, right?
Right.
Create those mailers. Today, as you just pointed out, the incredible array of different venues in which advertising can be done. So now, if I understand LiveIntent, one of the key things that it does is makes kind of what you call a next generation email. Is that a good description?
I would say so. We get confused with others sometimes because we do operate within email newsletters, right? But from a LiveIntent perspective, we don't send email, and we don't power a lot of the editorial content that's in newsletters, right?
Ooh.
What we do though is we work with our 2,000 publishers and brands that utilize our platform to help them acquire, retain, and also monetize their audience within the inbox, right? So great example is take one of our top clients, the New York Times, for example, right? So the New York Times sends out a ton of emails on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to their subscribers, right? So if you sign up for today's headline or breaking news or one of their categories like sports or travel, right? When a newsletter gets sent to you in your inbox and you open that newsletter, there's all the content that the New York Times has written about. And chances are if you click on one of those pieces of content, it'll then link out to the larger article on their website. But also within the New York Times newsletter are going to be marketing units, right? And those marketing units is what's powered by our platform, right? So we're now creating a new product for the New York Times digital ad sales team to go out and sell to their advertisers, similar to how they would on their websites, right? But if the New York Times doesn't sell all that inventory, we actually have our own sales team here that goes out and reps the LiveIntent network of the 2,000 publishers, so we can then help the New York Times monetize that and send them a check, right? And then the other part of that is we can also work closely with the marketing team at the New York Times, right? Because if you think about email newsletters, right, it's one of the most highly engaged platforms that there is, right? You've actually gone to a website and they've given them your email address, which is personal to you, and have asked them to deliver content to you in your inbox. So when you open that newsletter, you're highly engaged, right? So we could also work with someone like the New York Times and their marketing team who's tasked with growing their subscribers to say, hey, run acquisition campaigns across our network, if you will, and help grow your subscription list. Or we can work with a retailer who has a product to sell to advertise across our network to, sell their product. So there's a number of different ways which we work with our 2,000 premium publishers and brands, but at a high level, it is to acquire, retain, and monetize their audience.
So I used to think about two different stacks: the marketing stack or the MarTech stack and the ad tech stack. It really sounds like what you're describing is almost a hybrid, a combination of the two. Yeah.
And so, and that's exactly what we talk about here at LiveIntent, is we really think we sit at that intersection of advertising technology and marketing technology. And I think the new term in the space now is called Mad Tech.
Okay.
And so, we sit right there. And again, the way we try to work with our customers is we say, hey, take the brains of marketing, right? Take the data that your marketing team has, that your customers have, and marry that with the power, the horsepower of ad tech, right? To again, accomplish your goals as an organization.
Okay, so you've been talking a lot about newsletters, but do you use just regular email setups as well? And is this the same kind of email that our grandmothers knew, or is this a new kind that's a lot smarter?
Yeah, so with our customers, right? Yeah, we talk about the marketing units within their email newsletters, but from a marketing standpoint and how we market to our customers and how we keep them up to date on the latest and greatest. Yes, we use email newsletters as well too, to communicate out to our customers. I would say, though, to answer the second part of your question, I think certainly, email has been, in my opinion, it's like the original social media in my eyes, right? And it has, I think it's evolved over the last, 8 to 10 years. I think as marketers get smarter about understanding their customer base, as they get smarter about acquiring new customers and communicating with them, brands are starting to use and publishers are starting to utilize email much more effectively, right? Because you can personalize email, you can trigger alerts off of email newsletters. There's so many different ways that you can utilize that piece of content, that platform, if you will, to communicate to your customers and prospects. So it has evolved over the years, yes.
Oh, very good. So let me have you put on your marketing hat. So when you look at marketing strategy and just what you're seeing as a marketer yourself, are customers consuming content different today than they did in the past? Are they reading more newsletters? Are they watching more videos? Do they listen to more podcasts? What are some of the trends that you recognize out there?
Honestly, it's all of the above. I think I read a stat the other day that said that this year email is going to grow to 3.8 billion users worldwide, right? That's half of the world's population, if you think about that, right? And so I think that's, again, why marketers want to be there. I read another study that said that, 90% of marketers prefer look at email as their most effective channel as well, too. So email, in my eyes, isn't going anywhere. At the same time, these other technologies, these other platforms, they will continue to grow because in some respects, they make people's lives easier. They're efficient to use, especially things like audio. I listen to books on my commute, so on and so forth. So I think marketers' jobs are going to get a lot tougher in the future because, as we talked about earlier, you have all these different ways of consuming content. It makes it tougher for a marketer to not only figure out which channel is working, but the attention span of a person that's utilizing all these different platforms is getting much shorter too. So you have less time to be effective in your messaging.
Oh yeah, and you can hyperlink out to any of those different formats from your email. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Exactly. And again, if I think about my own habits, right? I sign up for a lot of email newsletters because I feel that that's an efficient way for me to get content by being pushed into my inbox. And quite frankly, email is the first thing that I check when I wake up in the morning. And it's the last thing that I check before I go to bed at night. And I'm constantly on it throughout the day, whether it's at work or whether I'm going out to lunch and I have a minute in the elevator ride to look at my email. And I know I'm not the only one, and there are stats out there that back that up. People are on this thing checking their email all the time.
Oh yeah, and if you're an international company like I'm sure yours is, we have our operations in Europe and our operations in India and other locations. So it's like your email never goes to sleep either.
Right, absolutely.
So you talked about it's almost getting tougher out there for a marketer as well with all the different formats. But talk to me about what advice you would have for a young person getting in marketing. What skills should they really be preparing to take into the marketplace?
Yeah, and I'll speak from my own experience because while I'm not a young person in terms of just getting into the industry, I am still relatively young in terms of my marketing experience, right? Like I said, I've done operations, account management, and more recently over the last couple of years, I've gotten into marketing. And I think from my perspective, creating a network is super, super important. And not just a network where, it's a number, but people out there that you have will build meaningful relationships with, that you can bounce ideas off of, that you can have a conversation, that you can share thoughts. You can't put a price tag on that. I think that's super, super valuable to be out there and network and build your own network that you can depend on. I would also say spending time with individuals in other areas of the industry and other areas of your organization. I think one thing that's been very beneficial for me, again, my background of operations and account management, so I've got this sort of cross-functional experience that I'm now bringing into the marketing world and helping lead the team, which I think is valuable. But constantly spending time with sales and customer success people that are on the front line, speaking to customers, I think is super important. Building great relationships with the product team, which, if there's no product, there's no marketing, right?
Yeah.
Being in sync with those folks, I think is super, super important. So for anyone coming into, experienced or not, coming into this space and coming into marketing, those would be some thoughts that I would have. And then I would also say is never stop learning. You know, our space continues to evolve, continues to change. There's a lot going on. In my opinion, no one's really an expert. No one really knows anything. So continuing to always sort of learn and be out there and keep an open mind to things are things that I would recommend to folks.
So, Kerel, are there any technologies that you think that if you had a background in those particular technologies, it's really going to be an asset to you in marketing going forward?
I would say my sort of platform experience and understanding data management platforms really helps me today, internally and externally, when it comes to looking at how we segment our own customer base, even down to specific personas and how we want to market to them. I think has been super helpful and important. My days in leading account management and being customer facing. So really understanding what our customers, how they think, what they want, what challenges they have has really helped me in terms of translating that to where LiveIntent fits into sort of their helping them accomplish their business goals. So yes, yep.
Well, terrific. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now I'm going to slide a crystal ball in front of you there. And ask you, where do you see marketing going? What's the trends that you think that are really going to impact marketing over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I think the importance of data, right, and you can unpack that in many different ways, continues to be at the forefront of what we do. But I think 2 sub-bullet points to that, which I think are really important, is creative and how learnings about our customers and learnings help inform the types of messaging we use, the types of imagery that we use, and how we use that to communicate. Like I think that has, especially in the ad tech space, I think creative has been a lost art and a missed opportunity. I like to say all the time that you can put the right ad in front of the right user at the right time. But if the creative stinks, there's no substitute for that. It just isn't going to work. So I think utilizing data and how that transforms into building better messaging and better creative, I think is going to be super important in the future. I also think that translates into user experience, right? As we talked about all these different platforms that people are using to consume content, the one thing that is consistent about the platforms that are growing is that they're easy for people to use. They make people's lives a little bit better and efficient, right? And I think user experience is a part of that. And so the more that marketing can impact a user experience, I think the better off. You think about thinking about LiveIntent and the many different hats our marketing team wears here, right? We send out emails. We have a website. We have a business that we're trying to grow. Utilizing our own products and services. We try to do that as much as we can, and from a marketing perspective. And when we utilize our own LiveIntent products and services, we pass that feedback back to the product team, right? So to me, that impacts potential customer experience in the future as well too. So that's what I mean by, we can definitely play a role in that and have an influence in user experience from a marketing perspective.
Great. Kerel, thank you so much for sharing that with us. So the one last question before wrapping up here, when should a company call you guys?
Company should call us if you send email, give us a call. If you send email and you're trying to grow your subscriber list or you have a product to sell, give us a call, and I'm sure we can certainly help you.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you so much for sharing your insights, your experiences, and industry knowledge with all of us today, Kerel.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yep, and I want to thank everybody out there that's tuned in for joining us today as well.